best time to take a video when you are in the midst of your symptoms and you just woke up. But hey, we have coffee. So, like many individuals that are on the spectrum or neurodivergent or have trauma, we experience a lot of things, man. I'm fucking irritated. It's hard to even talk about shit in this space, right? It's hard to like articulate because there's a lot of things coming through my body. But you know what? Using grounding tools right now, I'm on the ground. So, I don't know. I'm not ready to do that. So I'm going to try to bust through this instead. So, task paralysis, time management, executive functioning skills, anxiety, rage. Yep. All of that in one person. There's a level of intensity, right? Can't you see it on my body? Sympathetic space, man. Sympathetic space, the nervous system. So, time pressure, executive functioning skills, task paralysis. What the fuck am I talking about? Why is it so activating? And what does it all fucking mean? Well, let's get into it as best we can. Multifaceted experience of these dynamics that I expressed that collude inside the body and the mind and affect the reactions, thoughts, and feelings, right? So sometimes it's unpredictable. Sometimes we're not attuned to the messages internally that may be poking the bear of these three things, right? Weekends can be difficult for a person with this presentation. When you have a Sunday and you have no specific obligations and you are needing to just use those skills. Like, what do I do? How much time do I put into something? What do I want to do? When do I do it? Right? So like that's just going on because it's a weekend. That's just kind of ground level normal, right? But then you wake up and you got like a little bit more extra going on inside the body. And sometimes taking a fucking deep breath is just not the thing. I share because the rage, the anger, the frustration, the sadness, the emotionality is so common amongst individuals that are similar to me, especially those that have task paralysis and time management dysfunction. Sometimes expectations and judgments that we have are rooted in this maladaptive self-care process that we can be incredibly unaware of, and then have reactivity, internal intensities, thoughts, feelings based on those judgments that are actually rooted in an attempt to care for ourselves. It's like unbelievably uncomfortable when somebody invites me to do something and there are no details. It causes a reaction internally based on external and internal history, right? And that is rooted in those dysfunctional skills. See, it goes right? Dysfunctional skills. I don't know. In that dysfunction. Because if I know all the details, I can design my time management and tasks around the details. When I don't have any details, I don't know what to do and when to do things. And it's harder to be self-governing when you're in that space. It's like feels sort of like a floating abyss. And some people are like, just do whatever you want. Like, but like, if you also don't understand time blindness, it just doesn't work like that. And then coupled with discomfort with stimulation, so like taking a shower is a process. It's stimulating to a lot of things. And so sometimes that's not easy to do immediately when you wake up. It's like get in the shower and do all the things. And so there's avoidance. And so not having details and then doing a task. And then everyone's like, all right, we're going to meet in a half an hour. Oh, wow, that fucking sucks. Then there's rage and disappointment in self and other, right? Because we don't want to blame ourselves, but it's like technically our fault. But also if they just gave us the motherfucking details, we could have had the whole thing worked out. So it's a lot. I have worked really hard at understanding some of the roots of those judgments and some of the feelings that surround disappointment when expectations are not met. So task paralysis and time confusion is a good one for me. Having expectations for myself, having expectations from others, and having judgments around the way others may do life because of the ultimate impact it has on my lacking dysfunction skills. The response to all of that then, like, this is the part that for some of us, we don't know how to know what's going on. And so we're just angry and anxious and blaming and judging. And for me, sympathetic nervous system is right there. So she is just mad, and it makes it harder. And then there's judgment. You know, could I just be a person that wakes up at this time and gets in the shower and I'm ready to go whenever somebody wants to meet for whatever? But all this to say, loving ourselves and walking into who we are is so important, right? Because sometimes I can't just take a fucking deep breath and then be back in my body and like, okay, everything's good now. Like, no. Sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes it's longer than that. Sometimes it's all day. And sometimes I feel like shit because of who I am. Right? And we don't deserve that. I don't deserve to judge my feelings that I can understand are quite valid and make a lot of sense, right? We're all just having a human experience navigating this bullshit. Together and apart, in connection, disconnection. None of us are doing it perfectly correct. And so love and self-forgiveness, right? So it's love, but it's like also putting that to the other person, because it can be easy to blame and shame. And so when you're good at like trying to self-care and get that shame, sometimes the other one comes through. And you feel angry at that person and you want to, you know, get mad or even or like talk nasty to them or be like, you always do these, get into absolutes. And when we can give gratitude and benefit of the doubt and love ourselves. Yeah, it's a good reminder.